Hello guys, it's your boy Sirigath, aka Shieldcoomer, and today we're gonna be covering Plaguefall 19 on Fortified week, Raging, Explosive, Tormented. This is similar to how most of my previous videos are. I've actually pushed quite a bit of keys this week. This was a pretty fun week to push, to be honest. It was like just challenging enough. Explosives make it interesting so that you don't make like too big pulls, but you know, I kind of hated it at the same time a little bit because explosives really mess with my like rotation and with what I want to achieve as a discipline priest, but that is okay. This group was quite crazy. They were like really high Ryo. Some of them, I think 3 of them were like super duper high Ryo, so they wanted to +2 this key, and I'm glad that I managed to follow up. I had my doubts, but it ended up working pretty fine. I think start was a little bit messy, but you guys will see how it went. It's a pretty cool key overall, just like very exciting, full of really intense pulls and like chain pulling and all of those things. So you know, if you're looking for some action-packed key, and I doubt you'll find more keys that are as action-packed as this one, at least at this level of play. Alright, so this one was very exciting. As you know, this is probably the hardest Tormentor to do, so that is why I have used both Rupture and Shadow Fiend. Just putting like a little bit of extra damage for the group, so they don't have to, you know, deal with like using their big CDs for this. And Paints Up, not sure if it was needed, but I decided to do it anyway. And then essentially like I couldn't do anything here. Like I was just handling explosives, and this is what I said when I say I kind of hate explosive week, because like I could have done so much damage here with either boon or even like a simple mines here would put me like close to 10k here, I think, but just like it was not meant to be. Okay, maybe not 10k, maybe like 6-7k, but it wasn't meant to be. We had 2 deaths. A little bit unfortunate. Nothing too bad though. DK says stop pull, question mark, you know. This DK was a bug like I was, and these 3 I think they were together, I'm not sure though. And I guess he was angry that they pulled for him, which I understand that. If I was tank I would hate people pulling for me as well, so I get that, but he seemed a little bit aggressive, but yeah. Plague Belcher. Oh, these guys take a lot on Fortified. There's not much to say about these guys, just as a priest, use Shining Force on these things or Fear together with your group to make them not come to the guy, and then dodge, obviously dodge this whatever it's called. I don't know how this ability is called, I forgot. It's not Back on Slime, it's Plague something or Belch something, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Just be careful, don't get, yeah, Belch Plague, yeah, don't get like splattered by that on Fortified on this high key. I believe that one shots, so don't do it. And here you can see I use boon because with legendary and with the conduits that we have from, not conduits, the perks from Soulbind, I think it's from Mykonos, right? We get the reduced CD, and that puts our boon on 1 minute CD essentially, or like 1.5. So that is incredibly powerful utility for us. It's crazy how strong boon is at the moment. Deals so much damage and so much healing. It's just a very strong ability overall. It does kind of interrupt our normal rotation fully, like it just makes it non-existent, but it's worth it. It's still worth it, like without a doubt, it's worth. Alright, boss is quite simple. Of course, dodge Slime Wave. If you do a lot of damage, he will do Slime Wave before he does the Plague Stomp. I think that's what it depends on how fast you push. Because I noticed with the groups that have less damage, he will do the push first and then he'll do the Slime Wave. So I think he does it like at a specific percentage of HP or the timings, or I don't know, something like that probably. Yeah, it's probably every 20% or something. I'm actually not sure. I'm not sure. let's see if he will do it now. Now we pushed 40%. Is he gonna do it? No. So maybe there is like a timer, but it can get interrupted from like spell casting queue or whatever. I don't actually know. If somebody knows, let me know in chat. Yeah, I'm kind of curious now. I've never really looked into it, so yeah. Plague Stomp. Plague Stomp is a bit tricky for us because we, as a Discipline Priest, like when we played Ventir last patch, we could have easily Doors or Shadowed, and then you can even grip one other person. But it's important to note that this slow is actually quite annoying for all the wheelchair classes, and it's just something that you need to pay attention to. Like maybe grip somebody who's slow. Like if you have a DK or another priest, like just grip them, or you know. Just a little bit of help. You don't need to, but it's kind of nice to help your teammates if you can.
Once I control it, all of Maldraxxus will pay for what they've done.
Here I instantly decide to do Pain Sup on the guy. I'm not sure if this was right actually. I think I should have waited for Raging. So this is probably like a suboptimal usage of Pain Sup. So once again, I'm not gonna say it's bad usage. I'm gonna say it's suboptimal because I do think it helped a lot, but I also think it could have been used better. So not bad, not the worst either. And you can see from how much explosives I've done, I'm barely getting time to do any healing or damage, and it kind of just like sucks with these big pulls, but it is what it is. Saves a lot of time that we're able to do big pulls in the first place, so that's nice. Here I'm just picking up some mana, then we're dealing with these guys. Don't forget that these guys will one-shot you on Fortified. Like, stomping over them can't one-shot you on a high key. And as you can see, like, we just keep going, like, very little time for mana. And I'm a little bit dry on CDs here. I decided to PI Shaman because I'm actually not sure who the best PI target here was. Like, some Frost mages really like PI. Some Frost mages, like, when I give them PI, they say, like, don't give it to me, it doesn't do anything. So, like, I don't even know what to do anymore. Like, I'm sure they benefit from PI. Like, there's no way you don't benefit from PI. And especially, like, since I know I played with Birkin, who's like one of the better Frost mages out there, I definitely know that you can get a lot of damage through PI. So I'm kind of confused why some of them complain about it. Like, I don't really get it, but yeah. And here it's a pretty big shame that we didn't manage to kill all of these, but I managed to, like, with Shaman's Necrolord thingy, we managed to kill that one at least. But I feel like we could have killed these two as well, and that would kind of help us a lot. It would save a lot of time. But yeah. And here I wasn't sure, like, he said you res, so like I wasn't sure if he means I res or you res. Like, I just wasn't certain, and I apologize for this, like, just like now a boring section of the video where I don't really know what to tell you guys, but it is what it is. Yeah, what we could have done differently there, I'm not really sure. We were dry on CDs. I did put Dome, but we still died. I think Tank kind of pulled more than he could have handled there, because that pull is very tricky unless you interrupt everything, and we just could not interrupt everything, so that's a bit unfortunate, but that's okay. It goes to show, even with a dumb wipe like this, you can still +2 and 19. That's kind of comforting, if you ask me. That's really actually comforting. Means that, you know, you don't have to play absolutely perfectly flawlessly in order to time these high keys. Well, I mean, somebody might laugh that I say that 19 is a high key, but I consider it a high key. Alright, so okay, one thing I didn't do here is actually like pretty triggering now that I'm looking at this. I didn't use stamina buff. Oh, that's a big yikes. Ooh, I hope I'll fix that very soon, because that's like a pretty big oversight on my part. Maybe I almost never forget to do it, so maybe, like, I know I was focused for this key, like, really, because of the interaction I've had with the oh, there you go, I did it. Okay, so it's not that bad. Okay, I noticed. Okay, good. Yeah, I was just curious, like, I'm usually very good at, like, rebuffing. I understand the importance of buffs. Like, buffs are oftentimes very underestimated by people. Yeah, here, but, like, once again, my job is just basically to do explosives in these big pools, because there's, you know, these guys are getting damage. Tank is DK, so he'll heal himself pretty much. And there's not a lot of healers that can do this. Actually, I'm not sure if there's any healer that can do this. Like, We just provide a lot of passive healing here, simply by using Shadow Fiend and by using all these dots on everything, and then at the same time we're also using the Tormented healing, right? So just like one shield and Shadow Fiend and already like 5k healing, like that's pretty good, right? That's pretty impressive actually. So this is the power of Discipline Priest. Like, it's not insane amount of healing, but it's just enough for these guys to be able to finish this pack very smoothly. This was a very smooth pull, and this is not an easy pull. This is like a pretty difficult pull in my opinion, especially for this week. So that was pretty cool. And here I was a little bit triggered that we kept pulling. I didn't really like this pull personally because I was out of mana and it was kind of risky. And also notice how, like I say usually, that Shadowman spamming is not the way to go most of the time, but notice how like Warrior lived because I Shadowman spammed him so earlier, like on the previous pull. So that's, you know, it's situational. Like, just because something is bad doesn't mean that it doesn't have its uses. And I don't mean it's bad, it's good if it keeps people alive, but it's like suboptimal. And DK just like kept pulling, and I'm once again like this was very stressful for me. I remember like this part I was super stressed because I was scared I'm gonna run out of mana, and like I don't think I can ask them to like stop and, you know, just let me get my mana up. You know, just healer things.
Run away.
Healer, no mana, no problem. I keep pulling. Zog zog. That's okay though, like you have to, right? Especially now with like the mana anima power. Like my luck is that in this key, the not Sogodon, what's the guy with the fear? The first Tormented. He's very early on, and he provides mana buff, so that's like pretty big. It's a pretty big deal actually. That kind of carried my mana throughout all of these first like 15 minutes of the dungeon. A big time help. Like, if there wasn't for that, there's no way we could have done these pulls, because this just struggles so much with mana if you're proactive, like if you're casting all these spells, especially if you're casting offensive ones, which I am a lot because the explosives. And keep in mind as well, this is something that like it's a wasted global cast if you think about it, because usually what I get from Purge the Wicked is I get at least healing passively, and I get penance procs, right? But for this I don't, because the dot isn't ticking, so it can't crit, so therefore I don't get a proc and I don't get any healing for it. So it's essentially, other than killing the explosives, it's a wasted global cast. So it's very, I mean, global city, it's just a very tricky like annoying situation, but I mean that's what it is. That's what this week is all about, right? Explosives and working around explosives. That's the affix. It's not even raging, that's the problem, to be honest. And then Mage tried to do something fancy here. I'm not sure. I think he tried to pull by using altar time. And then he like died through ice block somehow. I don't know how that happened.
Gripping infection.
That was weird. I'm not really sure what he was doing. Like, I mean, I know what he's doing, but I don't really know how he died through ice block, especially because I wasn't even looking at him. He could have cancelled ice block and then like he died to explosion or to attack or something, but that was kind of weird. And I was kind of scared that the tank is gonna be angry because he earlier said like don't pull, and then Mage does this and also dies while doing this, but nah. Thought you wanted it because you pulled so big, is what he says. Okay. Cool. Thumbs up, I guess. I don't mind. Like, it was a cool play. It was a cool play. Cool play attempt. Too bad it didn't work, right? And this, oh wow, this got dicey. I don't remember this. Ooh, this was very spicy. Okay, casting Radiance there was a wrong move. Now in retrospective, like that I should have Ruptured there, because Rupture is so much faster. But this worked, luckily. It worked, but it was very scary. Like that was close. If it was a higher key, we would all be dead. This is not my mistake though. This is just like the way I dealt with their mistake was suboptimal, is what I'm saying. Could have done better. But this is a mistake on their part with the positioning and no interrupts. Damn, that mount is cool with the dragon. What mount is that? Is it easy to get? I don't know, I like those dragons. I don't know, easy, like... Yeah, that's really cool. I like it. Alright, so this guy is also pretty difficult on high keys. The AoE damage becomes pretty overwhelming, and we as discs... This is why some discs struggle with prides and why discs fell off from meta in general, just because we could not handle like high prides, or at least, I don't know. I know that, like, I found them much easier on like Paladin than on disc, for example. Especially if you take into account like Divine Toll or Ashen Hollow, it just makes it so much more simpler. One thing we do have for this guy though is Mass Dispel, which is pretty big, and yeah, that's pretty cool.
Well fought.
And we dealt with that. Just pretty simple, you know. I rotate between like sometimes shadow mending, but mostly just radiance, and then smiting, penancing, solacing. The ad, especially on this guy, on single target. I like if it was like a little bit more sketchy, I would have also committed Shadowfin there, but I kind of wanted to save Shadowfin for the boss. And here we do like a pull that I absolutely agree with. I do not know why some groups refuse to do this pull. Like even on Tyrannical and Fortified, this pull is completely fine. Like Dr. Icus plus these two mobs. Like these two mobs are really easy. They don't really do anything special. Just pull them, kill them together with Bloodlust. It's such a like a time efficient way to do this, like for real. I don't know why people are hesitant to do it. And here things got like very spooky for me, and I barely lived there by using like literally every single defensive I've had. So good job for that at least, like using defensives, always a good thing. And notice how I saved Kyrian Boon here. With the explosion, I'm not sure if I'll do it. Yeah, I do it, okay. Of course, I was like, why wouldn't I do it? Like, but then I wasn't doing it, so I was wondering like if I had something else in mind. But yeah, tank starts taking a little bit of damage. I put a torment on him. I'm not gonna kill him, he's a DK. Like, I'm only gonna kill him if he actually gets in trouble. And here, this is a little bit tricky situation, but we handled it fine. Keep solacing, get that mana back. Can also Mind Blast here. It's not too bad to do it because he deals reduced damage then. Like tank absorbs the damage. Yeah, there you go. I get a Mind Blast off. That's smart because this guy actually hurts tank quite a bit, even on Fortified. Like you can see how DK sometimes drops quite low, and I don't want him to drop low because I would rather have him deal damage, right? So yeah. And here I was a little bit stressed because I wasn't sure what we're doing. Like nobody seemed to really get onto explosive, and at this point I think we realize now it's like kind of too late. Luckily I'm smart, so I put a dome here, and I think this essentially saves us. Like AMZ plus dome, that saves us from explosion, so that was like a big play. And now in retrospective, that could actually be a strat as well. Like, why kill second explosive when you can dome it and MZ it? So maybe something to think about. I don't know if that's the good play. I'm always for doing like things they're supposed to be done, but if there's like an easy way to cheese something, then why not, right? Like it's just the dome. It's very simple. There with a little bit of a lag spike.
So you emerge victorious.
And this guy says, I say exciting, he said clean. DK tanks pog you. Yeah, I agree. Dude, DK tanks are so nuts right now. Like it's a really strong choice. Like they're so sustainable and they work well with this priest because we're not the best tank healers. Like our way to heal tanks is penancing, which we don't want to do. Like I don't want to penance tank, I want to penance mobs. And then like Shadow Mend, and I don't want to Shadow Mend because there's like so many other useful spells that I could be casting. So just like a really good combination. I think this might be my favorite tank right now for Discipline Priest. It's them and Bear, but Bear just because how ridiculously overpowered Bear is, not because there's like good synergy. It's simply Bear is like so freaking insane right now that I don't think there's like a single healer that doesn't like to heal Bear. and the reason is bear doesn't need healing. Like, you don't heal bear, bear heals you, dude. Like, bears are just like not balanced at the moment at all. But DK probably my like S tier combo with Disc, at least for this week it was. We'll see how it's gonna develop further. I noticed that they've been like rising in popularity, so you know, with a little bit of more data and like further research, I'll let you guys know how I feel about it a little bit more. But yeah, I definitely think that even in previous season when DK tanks were kind of being laughed at, I liked playing with them. Like, I've timed some, I think my first like serious pushed key was actually with DK. I don't remember, like that was before I was posting videos, but yeah, there was definitely definitely we have good synergy with DKs. It just makes sense, right? Because we like self-sustainable tanks, and DHs were self-sustainable in a way where, well, besides leeching and having like good resistance, they were kiting, so we didn't really need to heal them that much, which is why Disc was good synergy. And of course they increase like your magic damage, so therefore increase your healing, so it's like a double combo. But just overall, DHs were same as Bear is now. DHs were like overly strong previous season, so there's like a little bit of that as well. Here we'll let the enveloping web go off. The reason is, like, look how much time he wastes not casting stealth links. That's the main thing. Like, you don't want him to cast stealth links. And the more you let him cast other shit. Oh no, I used the swear word. Oh no, I was hoping I'll have like one key at least where I don't use the swear word for the whole key, and I was doing so well until now. But yeah, you want him to cast other things and like not do the stealth links, because stealth links, I mean, they're not that big of a deal. You can actually like do a lot of things with them. You can fear them, you can freeze them, you can just ignore them. There's like a lot of things you can do with stealth links, but ultimately see how scary they are. Like, it's just like you know that once they finish this cast, they can just one-shot somebody, and that's a scary thing. It really is, especially on Fortified. Like, it's terrifying. But yeah, we keep going. I go back to pick up that little ball of mana. I don't know why, but that was funny, because like I was going like zoom forward and then just like backwards, zoom, get my mana back. And here I put like a preventive dome. These guys that are shooting, they actually deal a lot of damage. And now if you notice, I mean, listen, this group is amazing. I'm not gonna say anything bad about them, but they didn't stand in dome. Like, one person was in dome, so that's like a mistake on their part. That's why Shaman is taking this much damage and stuff like that. But if they were standing in dome, like that would be like much more cozier for me, for sure. And yeah, here we just deal with these guys, and at this point I'm entering like sort of like a saving mode for boss, because this boss can be quite tricky on high keys.
Bulwark of Maldroxus.
You will not stop me. A single
solitary toxic slash.
And we go. So what do we have available from our defensive abilities? We have, well, we don't have Rupture, not anymore, but we have Shadowfin, we have Standard Boon, and Pain Suppression. Pain Suppression, probably best usage on tank or somebody who gets targeted by her Shadow Ambush and like has no defensives in a difficult situation. So not here, like this is not a good usage. I didn't use it, but I'm saying it, if I used it, it will not be a good usage. But ultimately I think it's DR is best used on targets that have like high effective HP, such as tanks. Because if I put it on tank, then I can fully ignore tank and just focus on killing the others. So if others start taking damage, I would like pain sub tank, and then yeah. And see how I like instead of doing my full ascended boon, like sort of like a ramp, mini ramp, dungeon ramp, instead I'm having to deal with explosives, and I'm losing like so much damage and so much HPS doing that. So that's just something to keep in mind, like some Because like if numbers look bad this week,
Solitary
don't
frame.
stress about it as long as you're doing your job. You're not here to
Assassin.
put the ping numbers, you're here to help your team win, and in order to win you need to deal with explosives, so you know, whatever it takes. You have Shadowword that, you have Purge the Wicked, and you also have Solace. I find Solace to be a decent option at dealing with explosives as well. It's not ideal, it's not as good as Purge the Wicked, but if you find yourself somehow in a situation where you're sort of low on mana and you want to get that mana back, just use your Solace instead of Purge the Wicked. Now I'm not sure if you get mana only if the target gets hit. That would actually be good to know. If somebody knows, let me know in comments. Because if somebody does explosive before your Solace hits, then that's bad. So in that case, no Solace. So maybe just play it safe and do it with Purge the Wicked now that I think about it. But the problem is mana is an issue sometimes for us discs, so just something to keep in mind. Don't like mindlessly just spam your abilities. You gotta do some calculations, you know. Actually, according to my calculations, it is 69.420% more feasible to cast Purge the Wicked, so
Using carcass.
okay, nerd. But that guy gets laid in college. Alright, so we deal with these devoted, just I mean, not much to say about them, they just don't get hit. And then interrupted this Ichor dude, and I'm just helping with, like, this is a good place to Mindseer a lot, like you can do a lot of damage here, but you can see that my damage is literally non-existent because I'm just dealing with explosives, because this room is quite tricky explosive wise. And then we deal with difficult boss for discs. On Tyrannical, on Fortified, it's not that big of a deal, but you gotta be careful with this boss. You gotta be very careful with this boss because this boss with the acid rain, toxic rain, or whatever it's called, that ability melts people. Like it literally will melt people. You need to be having like a plan on how to deal with it. You need to have your Rupture ready, your Ascended Boon ready, your Shadow Fiend ready, your Dome ready. You just need to have a plan how to deal with it. And then you gotta plan who you're gonna dispel. And I'll try to walk you through it, guys, like I did in the previous Plaguefall video. I'll try to walk you through my thought process. Luckily, these guys are just deleting this boss, especially since it's fortified, so of course, like, they're like high damage overall, so they're just gonna be even better here. But yeah, so like I positioned myself here a little bit early, and I put Radiance, and here's the first Infectious Rain. And I decide to deal with it via the Rupture. I fall behind a little bit because I do one explosive, but overall very cozy. And I know that I have a flask from Kyrian, and I have Desperate Prayer. So therefore I decided to dispel Shami so he can save his defensive. And he can use it maybe on the next train, because I know he's a good player. I know he's gonna use it when he sees that we're falling low, so I'm just like dispelling him and taking the chance on the others. And I know like Mage should never need a dispel, he should never be a priority because he has Alter Time, because he has Ice Block, 2 Ice Blocks actually because he's Frost, so, and also like good defensives with shields. That's very underrated aspect of mages. Like, see how big of a shield he makes just by casting the like his shield abilities. I don't know what they're called, but I know they can make good shields for as a fact. So barrier is gonna carry us through the second rain. I decide to dispel Warrior once again, because I kinda expected Shami to pop a defensive here because he didn't on the previous rotation, but he didn't pop a defensive, but we were still fine. So Dome, very powerful ability to use as long as you know you're not gonna have to move from there. What happened to me a few times is I would cast it to leave rain, and then the tentacles would come and we would get slapped if we stayed in Dome, so people had to move out and then they died. So just gotta be careful. You need to know which overlap you can do it on based on timers. I can't tell you which one because that depends on like the time you push. And here with Bloodlust I decide to, you know, PI and then do another set of Ruptures, this time with Ascended Boon. That is our strongest healing combination, so I know that like nobody's gonna die on this. with this combo, and luckily by the time it expires, we kill the boss. Easy peasy, +2 Plaguefall, +15 Raya points for me. Yeah, GG, well played, amazing group. I just want to say thank you guys for all the support lately. Thank you for liking, subscribing and commenting. Keep it up. If you have any questions, any suggestions, let me know in the comments. I would love to answer to all of you. I would like to know what you think. Much love guys, have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.